Hey everyone, it's Kim, and welcome back to Read It and Eat. Welcome back to Read It and Eat. I am here to bring you my September wrap-up. Actually pretty close to the end of September. It's October 4th. I'm sorry that the last couple videos have just been reading wrap-ups, but I do have some other videos coming. I've just been very busy between the launch of Uncommon Goods and the upcoming launch of my bookstore. If you haven't seen that update and announcements, I'll link those for you in the cards. So what did I read in September? I read 3 books. First, let me tell you what I'm currently reading because I started 2 books in September and I'm not done yet. So first, let me tell you about the 2 books I haven't finished yet, but did start in September. The first is Hot Hot Chicken, A Nashville Story. This is how Nashville's signature dish stayed hidden for decades in the city's Black communities and then became a global sensation. So I'm only a couple chapters in. It's not a huge book, so I have just started it. And it's very interesting to learn about, I'd say, cultural and food anthropology, how Black communities and how housing districts and jurisdictions have impacted the information about the woman who created Nashville hot chicken. How right now the author, it's not clear yet who actually invented hot chicken, but it is supposed to be a woman. And it's interesting to watch how could it be this woman or that woman? I'm not explaining it that well, but there's a lot of the way legislation and zoning is dividing Black communities and really impacting who might have actually discovered or created hot chicken. The other book I'm still currently reading is Kissing Kosher by Jean Meltrez. This is a food romantic comedy. Opposites attract, enemies to lovers, and it's 2 kosher bakeries that I'm very much enjoying. I apparently only have 4 minutes left on this memory card, so maybe I get a minute per book that I have read. Last month I read The Joy Luck Club. That's a classic. I admit I've seen the movie and never picked up the book, but I read it for book club. And The Joy Luck Club is about Chinese American immigrants in the United States. They all come together to celebrate life. Joy luck is actually what they come to celebrate. And at the start, there is a daughter of one of the founders of the Joy Luck Club who is going on a journey to find her half-sisters back in China. And it's told through different short stories. And very beautiful. I get why this book is so loved. It was very beautifully written. I mean, it's on its 30th plus, and I think the version I read was the 30th anniversary cover, and even that's still a couple of years old. The other 2 books I read, the first was Chew the Fat by Jay Rayner. So Jay Rayner is a famous UK food critic. I recognized him and learned about him because he was a judge on Top Chef Masters, if you remember that spinoff of the famous Top Chef. So Jay Rayner's book, Chewing the Fat, was just a couple of hours long. I listened to it as an audiobook because I wanted to listen to Jay Rayner's beautiful British accent. And it's called Chewing the Fat, Tasting Notes from a Greedy Life, and it's multiple essays that he has published when he was an active writer. And if you've never read about Jay Rayner before or know his work, I thought this was a great way to get to know his work. Like, I knew he was a food critic, and I knew he was a British food critic, but I'd never read any of his work because I don't grow up with the British newspaper or the British column. This was great. I loved seeing his writing style. It was really fun to listen to it with Dan. We were driving to a wedding and argue about like which stories were our favorites. My favorite one that he had was like about a bunch of inventions that he wished already were invented by now for the kitchen. And it was just perfect. And I really enjoyed it. I really recommend you pick that up. The other book we listened to was America the Edible by Adam Richman. So if you recognize the name Adam Richman, he's the guy from Man vs. Food on the Travel. I think it was the Travel Channel. Was it the Travel Channel? I just remember Man vs. Food. I remember him eating a lot of stuff. And this book was him talking about 9 of his favorite cities he's ever visited. So America the Edible, A Hungry History from Sea to Dining Sea. And it's very travelogue, think Anthony Bourdain, but a lot less angry. I didn't realize that Adam was a trained actor, which really made his insights about different cities really fun. It was nice to get a sneak behind the tent to really see who Adam was, because this book, he talks about memories before the show, when he was just a starting actor, and time after it as well. And I super enjoyed it. He also narrates his own audiobook, and it was a lot of fun. Dan and I had to drive 6 hours each way for our cousin's wedding, so we knocked out 2 audiobooks in that trip, and it was great. I really recommend both of these books. I actually want to do another video about Adam Richmond, because again, here's another host with a memoir-ish book. And I want to know more about him. And Jay Rayner, oh my God, I have one of his other books is right here on the shelf. I can't find it. I know it's right in front of me, and I'm annoyed that I can't find it. I'm watching the card run out of memory. Aha! I have his other book. Jay Rayner, My Last Supper, One Meal a Lifetime in the Making. So I have one of his other books, and I cannot wait to read it. It now says I have no memory, so I'm going to wrap up here. Hopefully it didn't cut me off. I hope you're reading something great, eating something delicious, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.